Hello everyone, it's Caitlin, and today we're going to take a close-up look at my newest original dress. Alright, so here she is. Yeah. So I guess we're going to start taking a look at her. I'll hold her down a little bit. So she is a full dress, not just a bodice, of course. And it is black silk, but this silk isn't really a taffeta. It's very thin, almost more like a tissue taffeta. So, yeah. But there are no darts and no boning in the entire bodice. It is just gathered to fit at the waist, and the lining is just gathered as well, so it's just treated as one piece. There's a self fabric waistband. It is not piped on the top of the waistband, but it is piped on the bottom of the waistband. And she has no buttons or buttonholes, which will be so much fun when I recreate this dress because I hate buttonholes. But she just has hooks and eyes. And on this side, or I think these would have moved, because you can see like stitching lines like right here. So I'm thinking these actually went over here. And I don't know if it was because someone else had it and they were a bit smaller in the waist, but not in the bust, so they didn't move these. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but she is lined with cotton. I'm seeing some maybe polish right here, but most of it's worn off, so can't really say it's a polished cotton anymore. Sleeves are lined with the exact same fabric, so you can see the polish a little bit more there. The whole thing is hand stitched, and it looks like she did a little bit. She did a back stitch, but she didn't do it as neatly as the other original that I have. Of course, piping at the neckline. It's very small piping, and very nicely put together at the edge. Let's turn her over. We'll look at the back. Actually, let's talk about the closer. So she just closed down the center front. It's not a side closure. She just kind of cut into the skirt fabric, so there is no seam down the center front. But she kind of just cut it down, and then there's like a little pleat here to kind of cover it. And if you were to put these hooks where I think they would go, it covers it very nicely, and there is no gaping. Someone, I guess whoever moved these hooks, put this little facing of black silk on this side, which I guess in case it gapes open, you would, it wouldn't show anything. This is a different fabric than the actual dress fabric. This is more like what I would consider a taffeta. It's much firmer, much stiffer. It holds a pleat better. It's not as loose. So, yeah, I think that was added later. And it's just whipped in. Okay, so the skirt is gauged, and there are two gauging threads, I suppose. And it's just tacked onto the waistband. Really through here. So there's like little stitches in the ditch of the piping, and that's how it's attached to the waist. It's not done every single pleat. It's not attached like I've seen before. And I don't know if that was a remake or what have you, but that's how she did it. Sleeves are bishop sleeves. And I need to, when I store it, put some tissue paper in here so this doesn't split any further. And she has these really pretty little cuffs that are just self fabric, and they have some shirring on them. There's a little bit of decoration. It's the only trim on the entire dress, and I'm not even seeing, like when I look at the bodice, I'm not seeing any type of stitching or holes or anything to suggest that there may have been more shirring trim up on the bodice. I'm not seeing any of that. The cuff is attached with a little stitch right at the very point. But other than that, it's free and loose. But you can see her stitching down here. Now this is a darker polished cotton, and we're going to look at the second piece to this outfit in just a second, and it's lined with this exact fabric. And then these just close with little hooks and eyes. And it's just gathered to fit. Alright, now Now let's take a look at the back. So it's a one-piece back, and she didn't even do the seam to make it look like a three-piece back. It's just a simple one-piece back. And she gathered it across here to fit it. There's actually a pattern, Simplicity, I think it's 4551, that gathers the back a little bit like this, but it controls the gathers like really tiny here, and she just kind of spread them out a little bit. So you can see the gauging and the piping here. Very nicely controlled. There is a pocket in the side seam. Wherever it went to, there it is. Okay, so side front, about kind of where a side seam would go. And you just have a little pocket made with the polished cotton. Yeah, the fold hides it really well. Take a look at the hem. Now the hem is interesting because it was remade by someone who was a lot shorter than the original lady. Because, if you flip this up, there's her hem tape that would have been on the bottom, and it's faced as well. It's faced with, not pull this very tightly, but it's faced with the dark polished cotton. So part of me really kind of wants to take this stitching out and make it long again, because this is creating a fold, and there's lots of damage around this fold now, but now I'm afraid that if I let it loose, that those threads are going to pull. So I'm kind of at a loss of what I should do with that. Like, this whole section has come loose. If I were to unfold the hem, I would need to tack that together. But here's her hem tape, since this part is loose. Or her braid, her hem braid. And she just did a fold. So she folded the braid in half and just kind of did a running stitch all the way across to contain it, which is one of the great ways to do hem tape. Other than that, the skirt is unlined. Let me find the pocket here. There we go. And so this is the shape of the pocket. It's just a little rectangle. It's not a big pocket, but it's, you know, a decently sized pocket. And she sewed that with brown thread, just a little quick running stitch. It kind of comes up here like that. It's actually a really nice pocket shape. But yeah, let's go ahead and take some measurements, and then we might put her on the mannequin to kind of see what she looks like, maybe with a hoop or something. Okay. So she has a 29-inch waist, which is a pretty good sized waist. It's a bit smaller than mine, and that was measuring from here where I think the original hooks went. That wasn't there to the very end. It's probably, well, this is an inch, so it means the waist now right here is 30 inches. So let's measure her bust. I'm really terrible at measuring busts. So she has a 38.5-inch bust. So yeah, it's a decent sized dress. It's not a super teeny tiny dress. And let's see how tall she was. Or at least how long the skirts are. Keep it on the seam. Alright, so it's just under 38 inches now, which means the lady is about 3 inches shorter than I am, given if she has the same proportions, like the same length of legs or whatever. So I would say she's around 5'1", but the original lady who made this dress, what I said that was 38. Just keep it going. 42. So she is exactly my height then. That's kind of cool. So I'm just under 5'4". So there's some more mending someone did with a strip of taffeta. Someone was trying to help this dress. I think it just needs some more help. But yeah, so she's, you know, about my height and a little smaller in the waist, maybe by about 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches, and a little bit smaller in the bust. So she's not all that tiny, but let's go ahead and put her on the mannequin, maybe with a hoop, and we can kind of see how the skirt falls and that sort of thing. Okay, real quick, I lied. So I forgot there's actually a second piece to this outfit. She has a little pelerine, or a capelet type deal. So we can go ahead and look at this thing as well, which is really cute. And she has this lovely little fringe on it. And it's just whipped in. So it is fully lined with polished cotton. And it is bag lined. So on the other one you saw all the seams because the lining and fabric and the fashion fabric are treated as one. This one they're not, so there's no seams on the outside or on the inside. It is bag lined. And then just, I can't tell if she just, yeah, she did sew them together. She sewed them together, turned them inside out, like we would do a modern lining, and then just did a running stitch to attach all the trim. She didn't do trim all the way up, but there are no hooks and eyes or anything on this, so I guess it just kind of laid on her shoulders, and it didn't need a closure. There's no piping, it's just a little very ratted out, unfortunately, binding that's set in very with tiny little stitches. Look at the back. So she was clearly folded most of her life, which is why we have, oh, y'all can't see that, which is why we have all these little rips and tears. But it does come to a point in the back, and there is a center back seam, not on the lining but in the fashion fabric, which is probably means the fashion fabric wasn't wide enough to do a whole piece, but the lining fabric was. Is probably just what that means. So yeah, I guess now we can put it on the mannequin. We'll look at the dress first, just the dress, and then we'll put the little pelerine on top. Okay, so the mannequin is stuffed out. I just used an old petticoat to kind of quickly make her a larger size than what the dress form really is. Put on my corset to give her a period shape because the chest of the mannequin is like down here and it really should be higher up for a period shape. So I went ahead and did that, and then put, of course, my hoop on. So we're going to try to very carefully put on the original dress over this. This should be fun. It's been a while since I've done this. I used to actually work at a museum, and one of my jobs was dressing out the mannequins because I was a textile person, and apparently that's what you do when you're interested in textiles and you work at a museum. You just get told to do all the dressing of mannequins for exhibits. Okay. The bust is a little too big for her on either. Okay. So the bust isn't going to fit. The waist will, though. I can always, like, squish things different ways if I need to as well. Let's go ahead and try that. I don't want to pull her anyway. Oh, part of this going to be down. I made her a little too large, so I may have to kind of reposition some things. Maybe just tighten the corset. I'm not really sure. It's quite a bit. It's quite too big much along there, but you can kind of see her size now and how she looks. Let me see if I can do this without taking the entire dress off. Just like it squishes much. Let's just see if I can just tighten the corset. Okay. Oh yes, 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 I can get this now. Okay. A little tighter up here. So let's see if I can do it without feeling I don't think I'm stressing it. Okay, that one's not going to go. Maybe the top ones. Maybe just do. I can get her neckline one. And this one. And that one. I'm not going to do that one because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt it. I'm just going to put it a little bit further. Yeah. And that's not like for real dressing on a mannequin, because usually I would use stuffing to actually stuff out the mannequin. But yeah, that's what she looks like on. So yeah, let me move the camera. There she is, minus the 2 hooks I couldn't get because I'm afraid of hurting her. But yeah, and there's the dress. You see how much shorter she is than Edith? There's quite a bit at the ground. Yeah, so yeah, the second lady who remade this dress and didn't really bother with for real remaking it, she was quite a short little lady. But yeah, take a look at it, and there's her little sleevey bits. And you see the skirt has many little holes, which is fine. That's why I got it at the price I did. There's some pooping at the back, but that's my quick and dirty version of stuffing out as opposed to the actual dress. Yeah, and then there is the back. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put on the Pelerine. It should be pretty simple because there's no hooks and eyes on this thing. There we go. I'm sure it would close with a brooch or something. But yeah, that adds quite a bit of detail to the front of the dress. Like, it doesn't look so plain anymore. I do find it interesting that she trimmed the sleeves and the Pelerine in a totally different way. Because usually I would think that you would like do them the same, but that is interesting. Or perhaps it was just the lady who remade it. Maybe she put on the fringe, or maybe she put on the shirring. It's interesting. But yeah. I guess why the Pelerine's on the mannequin, it might be a good idea to take some measurements. Let me move the camera so y'all can see a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So let's see, what do I want to measure first? Let's measure the front seam right here. So from where the binding starts to where the fringe starts is exactly 7.5 inches. Let's see if it's the same on this side. 7.25, so yeah, close enough. Shoulder seams. The actual garment is 14.75, but when you add in the fringe, it's 16 inches. The fringe itself, the fringy bit, is 1 inch, and the top part isn't 1/2 inch, so the whole thing is 1.5 inches, but she overlaps it slightly. So let's do the sweeping part from side seam here, or shoulder seam, across to where the fringe starts. 17 inches. I can probably make a pattern of this real quick and put that on the blog. I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if I'll do it for this video or if I'll do it back, because I actually am going to remake this dress as well, and so I might just do it then. I don't actually know. Okay, center back seam. To the end of the fashion fabric is 16 and 5/8, 16 and 5/8, and of course the entire thing with fringe is 18 inches, more or less. From center back seam to shoulder seam is 15 and 3/4. And I suppose I can measure the neckline, but it might be easier to do that off the mannequin. I could try it. You can just do it from just one side and we'll just double it. So to center back seam, it's 7 3/4. So 15 1/4 inches is the entire neck edge. Yeah. It probably closed and she would hold it with the brooch or something at this neck. So yeah, that's basically this gown. It's going to be a while before I actually get around to reproducing it. It's not on my immediate radar, as we are still not going to events right now. So I have made many new dresses in this time of isolation, and I think I should probably leave some for another time. So, but I can actually show you the fabric I chose. So I opted to not go with black because I just made another black silk dress, and I mean it looks nice in black, but I really don't want another black silk dress, even though this is probably 1850s, not 1860s. Yeah, this is the fabric that I chose. So it's a nice bright red, but it is a thin tissue taffeta. It actually remarkably is similar to the weight and drape of the dress fabric. It kind of lays the same way, it drapes the same way, so yeah, that'll be fun whenever I get around to that. I think I have it on the schedule for next month, because I am weird and I schedule out everything. Every single day I have a list of things I need to do. It's all color coded by events, so like the events that are the closest to happening are all the projects for that are red, and the next one is orange, just like the rainbow colors. And like right now, because I'm planning all the way up until December, I had to use some other colors like gray and pink. So it's all, and then anything that's modern that I just need to get done around the house is in black. So yeah, I'm weird, but it helps me get organized, and I have the entire summer planned out, actually, exactly what I'm doing every single day. And I think this is on the schedule in July. So it might be a while before I get the video up, but yeah, that's my little pretty dress. I need to stuff her out and figure out where I'm going to store her. I have a couple of original garments now that I probably need to get them their own box. In fact, I could probably put this dress and the other black silk bodice in the same box because they're both black silk. I think that would be okay. I have a lovely embroidered wrapper that needs to find a home. It's been sitting in with a bunch of other stuff that's modern recreation because I don't have a box for it specifically, but it probably shouldn't go in this in the box with these, but I don't know, maybe maybe I just need to get a box that's originals, and then as I get more, we'll separate them out to maybe like silk dresses go in one box and cotton dresses go in the other box. We shall see. But yeah. So thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed our look at my newest original, and I'll see you next video.